Yes. How is everybody doing? We're going to go through the comment section before we go through the price of Bitcoin and analyze what are the different scenarios that could happen. What are the levels of interest that we want to take a look at here for the next possible trading opportunity intraday. As we do so, guys, higher time frame, there are so many scenarios we can go absolutely crazy. We're going to be talking about the internal levels where we could find some intraday opportunities. So we are currently hitting a resistance zone. Without a doubt, we are getting a rejection already of a few $100s. We know that level, okay? There's been a couple of levels where we did get rejected today. Okay, we did have a higher low, very nice over here. This was a long scenario that was mentioned in the Discord. 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝗽𝗫 mentioned this. 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝗽𝗫, one of the coaches in the Legends trading community. But overall, taking a look at the resistance points as well, and we did get a rejection here where we did have a high volume node right over here. We were getting above the level, but very, very choppy. We also formed a daily level throughout this zone, okay, where we were getting rejected today. Very nice indeed. Formed a higher low, kind of moving up, creating that swing failure pattern from the golden pocket. I think there's too many eyes on this, too many eyes on this, too many shorts jumping in the game, and there is without a doubt the scenario of going to slightly higher levels. Okay, I believe that this zone is going to be broken in the end. Okay, so I am a little bit slightly bullish. I do think that those highs will be hit just because of the amount of liquidity. So it's probably going to roll down so you can short safely, because if I'm bullish, price is going down. If I'm bearish, price is going up, right? Let's talk about the different scenarios. The main reason why is there is a bunch of liquidity sitting above the resistance zone, okay, above the highs, above 68k. We do have a few 100 million, guys. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. We'll be going and diving in through many different scenarios, guys. Make sure to destroy the like button. Already 27 likes. That is insane, guys. Over 200 people, and 10% of you did smash up the like button. I know we can make it 50%, right? We're going to go in detail the scenarios that were mentioned yesterday as well, guys. We do not hide, okay? We're going to talk about the scenarios that were mentioned throughout yesterday's live stream as well, because we were just analyzing the drop. This was a very, very difficult, very complex falling knife to catch, okay? For me, there was not any clear confluence to suddenly jump in a long position. I was not interested in shorting any of the bounce here. And this was explained throughout yesterday's stream as we were getting that live price action, okay? Golden pocket, hey, we did get a rejection from here. Very, very nice indeed. Sweeping up those highs, right? Just by a few dollars. Hey, this is beautiful for a scalp. This is great for a day trade. You got that sweep, the golden pocket. You got a move down of $600-700. Bring it on, right? It's a good move. It's a nice move. It's a nice scalp trade. You could leave some open, be defensive. Could this be the top? I think that those highs are going to be claimed just because of the aggressive amount of shorts that we have in the market. This is why the next move is the most important, right? I got a bit of an itchy nose. The next move is the most important. Let me just check here if you guys can hear me and you can see me. And I'll go through the comment section. Pac-Man, my brother, thanks for joining right away. DTM, my man, shout out to you. Now, what has been happening here throughout the last few hours is that we have been forming some bullish CVD divergence on all of the exchanges, right? Even from here, but we got a little bit of a, you know, anybody that's long in here based on bullish CVD, you got that leg down. This leg down actually got a bounce at a daily level. We actually flipped that daily as support. It was getting resistance today, and it was flipping at support right over here. We'll be going through that right away in the next coming minutes. But we're getting a lot of shorts entering, okay? A lot of shorts entering, meaning that, you know, there is some probability in taking out this high. Now, the question is, will we break through here? This might happen live on stream, or will we create a double top, right? And just get a, you know, a major pullback down. Well, we'll figure that out potentially on the stream. But this already was an acceptable short position, right? You're sweeping the highs from the range of the last few days, and you tapped just above the level. Excellent for a short position. I need to give a shout out here to my man Aiden in the Legends trading community. I was ready with this update. Aiden here providing the setup. Of course, we have TP levels, all right, and obviously the TP1 was round about the daily level at $67,350 range, and that is basically where the price went to. Okay, now there is a daily level that has been providing some resistance today, early this morning. Okay, we did get some resistance. That daily level was only just printed from yesterday's close, right? Because it was yesterday's open. We got a bit of a doji candle right over here. So we got Tuesday's close and yesterday's open, right? And today, as we were moving today's green candle here, we did actually get a bit of resistance right there. We kind of tapped it, got beneath it, back tested it as resistance. We were actually getting a pretty solid resistance from the point of control of this range, right? It was getting above it, but not much of a successful breakout. So you got the daily point of control, you're hitting the 0.88, right, from this pivot high to the pivot low. There was resistance, back test, come back down, all right? And we got supported here just as a basic resistance support flip. I was personally looking for a little lower to get into a long position. Did jump into a long position because my man 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝗽𝗫, one of the coaches, said, hey, this could front run this area. Okay, we got a bit of an order block right over here. It could front run. We're getting resistance support flip. We could get that bounce and look for the VWAP and look for the highs to be taken. Now this happened, and there was one main reason of getting into that aggressive long trade, just being ready for the price to possibly wick down one more time and get also in the long position, okay, from the sweep of this low. We were ready for two scenarios. Okay, let's get into a smaller long position here, just in case the price does front run our level of interest, right? We do get a lot of front runs, right? We have some really solid setups, right? Ready for those setups. And a lot of the times the price just leaves without us, right? So we said, 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝗽𝗫 was saying, I like this level. And the main reason why is because we were creating some pretty intense, right? Pretty intense bullish CVD divergence, right? Let's just give that brief explanation from this price action that happened throughout the day. And we'll go through what we mentioned yesterday, guys, because we were talking about this being an expanding, okay, diagonal right there. And there's two scenarios for this. This is a finished ABC corrective move, especially looking at the highs being taken here, all right, or a much larger complex WXY. Whatever happens here, we can form triangles, we can form flats. It's going to be complex. We really don't know about the moves. We can talk about certain levels and target zones where we could get resistance and support. But let's just go a little bit through, the ideas from yesterday, right? We could not forget suddenly what, the scenarios that we were talking about yesterday. We had this expanding, okay, diagonal right over here in a 5-wave move. And this 5-wave move can be the completion of an ABC. We form beautiful 5 waves here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC right over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an expanding diagonal right there. So there was several scenarios. Okay, is this extremely bearish? Are we forming a 1, 2, 1, 2? We're going to get rejected from certain points. We were talking first of all of the golden pocket, and what happened at the golden pocket? Well, yeah, there was zero resistance. The price, just look at this candlestick. This happened at 2 o'clock in the morning. Boom, just a massive rocket to the upside, getting no reaction, no test of this high, no resistance from the value area low. It just exploded out with a huge amount of buying power. So there's eventually no short to be traded here. Why was there a short position to be taken here? Because you tested the high and you rejected from it. That is it. You did not get a green massive candle just breaking through. So it's eventually a good scalp short position. Will this scalp short position turn into a swing trade, right? We've tested the highs of the last few days. This is it. Don't be bullish. It's bearish. Well, the situation from this, like we mentioned yesterday, if we start coming all the way up here to this range, which we did today, this no longer looks impulsive, right? The only bearish strong case scenario here was forming a lower high round about 618, round about 78. Hitting the 0.88 already is too much for a wave 2. So there was high probability in this high being taken, and now there's very high probability that this is not a strong impulsive move down. We've basically claimed these highs. In an impulsive move, you don't want this high to claim this high over here, right? You just want to be downtrending. So there is a situation right now. We've claimed this high, meaning that this is not impulsive, and whatever happens here will likely be corrective. Okay, it does mean that we're not going to get a strong impulsive move down, and at some point we're very likely going to take this high, just because the market is not impulsive, right? And this is why yesterday throughout the stream I was talking about, guys, you know, I'm not interested in shorting this pump that we're having here. I've got some interest levels if we do get a reaction to jump into a short, all right? Even this one right over here at the 7.8, even though the price continued breaking through, we printed a new daily level and we got the rejection. We got a move down of round about $600-700. Pretty decent to get into a scalp short position. And yeah, basically what's happening right now is very disturbing, right? We've claimed this high. This no longer looks, it does not look convincing. All right, I do think it could come down, but in my personal opinion, it won't strongly move to the downside. We are interested in certain levels for short positions and also for long positions. Now, trades that I have got into today was a long position from this point, and that was shout out to 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝗽 saying, you know, it's possibly going to front run. And the main reason why is because we were forming some pretty intense bullish CVD divergence, higher lows on the price action, and on the rest of exchanges, there were just huge amount of shorts entering right there, right? You got lower lows on the CVD from this pivot, all right, and higher lows on the price action, meaning that you have high probability there's going to be absorption here, and the price will have an attempt in taking out the highs. So we front run that level. We were managing risk very, very well. This was throughout today's live in the Discord, and we had two plans here. Look, we're going to have an attempt and long in here. If we do get stopped out, we have another attempt if we sweep up this low. And overall, this little stop loss will be paid if we were to claim this high, because we are looking at a 5-6 to 1 risk reward. At least I did not start taking profits till we actually got all the way up to this high. I was actually adding a little bit ever so slightly to position because I got on both of the exchanges. So yeah, basically that was the main reason why of this long position. There were too many shorts entering here, and we were giving the bulls a possibility, right, to get this resistance flipping into support to get the rise and claim the highs. Really, that was the main reason here. We also had the breakout from the previous day value area high. So when we do get the session volume profile, okay, the SVP, which I deleted here for some reason, the previous day value area high got the support, okay? And this is a discussion that we mentioned also in the Discord, all right? Because on Binance, we did hit the previous day value area high. On Bybit, it was ever slightly front-runned. Some exchanges, right, the large exchanges do differ a little bit here with high volume nodes and previous day value levels. They can differ by $100 or so, but overall it is it's a support zone. If you do break it successfully, it could maintain also as support. So that was giving us the possibility of this bounce here to claim the highs, and maybe even this high over here, which was the shorting idea. This was the shorting idea just because of the amount of confluence. And remember, it's only a scalp day trade that could turn into a swing trade. We need to take profits at the local levels of support. As day traders, we cannot hope to say this is going to be the high, we are going to come down here. Well, we don't know that. And especially after claiming this high, this no longer looks very impulsive, right? Yeah, I would expect a movement down, but I do believe that we could be forming a higher low at certain levels of support. I'm going to give those levels of interest looking at slightly higher time frames, just so you can take them into consideration, looking at the waves, a bit of Fibonacci, a bit of confluence, just to, try and map to see if it makes sense for you. So diving in here, this was a level that was also mentioned throughout yesterday's live stream, right? Pivot high to the pivot low. It's pretty obvious that this is a reaction level, not only because it's the golden pocket, it's because we have the lower highs that was not claimed with this bounce. I love the price action when it forms a movement down, it forms a range, and from that range, if you do not claim the highs of the range with this movement, it's pretty likely that once you claim it, it's going to get a reaction. It's going to get some kind of pullback. Now the question is, you need to have certain levels of resistance that are flipping into support. In this case, the daily level, right? Which was yesterday's daily open, previous day close. So that level did provide resistance today, and it eventually provided support just in the last few hours. This is a move of round about $600 from the swing failure pattern level. Your entry point, tight stop loss, movement down to the first level of support. You can say, okay, I hope it does get broken. That's a good sign. That means that you could go to lower levels, claim this low. You do not break it. You get a reaction. You start taking profits quite aggressively. Now, the reason of there's a high chance in taking out those highs again and maybe breaking through, we're going to have to be checking to see if it's going to be a large wick and we're coming back down, is because of the local bullish CVD divergence. There is too much interest, and that has to ring the alarm bells, all right, of people shorting here in this rejection. I think it's pretty obvious. I think most of the people that are taking a look at Bitcoin are saying, hey, this is the golden pocket. This should get a larger pullback, right? This is a big rejection, right? Isn't this going to be the level that rejects to lower levels? There's too many eyes watching this. And when there's too many eyes watching this, and you do see with data that, hey, there is actually people shorting this like crazy. You got extreme lower lows on the CVD. This is a huge amount of shorts entering. We do not want to see that, obviously, forming higher lows with the price action and lower lows on the CVD. It means that there's more interest in shorting this zone, giving a high probability that those highs are going to be taken. And not only seeing the CVDs that you can see the short positions entering the market, this is why you need to be defensive at this level. Take profit, guys. We're forming very strong bullish CVD divergence, even considering a long position at the daily level, right? You're back testing this level as support. This daily level that provided the fake out, a bit of resistance. You broke out, flip as support. Basic technical analysis, resistance, support, flip. You're forming bullish CVD divergence here. There's too many people wanting to short. They need to get punished. They need to get punished with a wick here to the upside. And this is why you want to be, very defensive and just, not risk too much, take profit at the local levels of support. If you did short here, hey, it's a nice move of about $700. Your stop loss, if you do take a look at the execution of this trading setup from those highs that were created back on Monday, right? Those highs from Monday, check how the price action on the lower time frames, right, just ever so slightly gets to the level here. This is your aggressive entry point. Your stop loss is looking like something like this. Don't put it exactly on top of the wick. Give it a bit of room. You got a great setup here. Get great risk management. If it wicks up and it double tops, you can re-enter again locally, but it did not. So overall, first target zone, as Aiden was providing as well in the Legend Trading community, was that resistance flipping into support where we had the daily level. That's your take profit one. You like it or not if you're day trading. If you want to speculate, this is the high, I'm not taking profit, and we're going to go to much lower levels, then that is up to you. But as scalpers and day traders, we trade level to level. So this gave you an insane great entry point and an insane stop loss and a pretty obvious level of take profit one. Very, very obvious, very basic, very nice, very easy to understand. You got the resistance at the daily, you got the support at the daily. So if you're shorting here, you need to take profit here no matter what. No matter what. So unless you got in a small position and it's not worth taking profits, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going to speculate that this is the top. I want to take it as a swing short. And for me, it's not worth taking profit here. I would rather get stopped out at a minor loss. If it's not worth taking profit here, well, then eventually you got a tiny stop loss and you're just taking the risk of, I am speculating that this is the top and we're going to go to lower levels throughout the next couple of days. But if you're scalping aggressively using a little bit of high leverage, 2-3% of your capital, without a doubt, with this move, you want to be collecting some of those profits at this resistance, okay, support flip. Now, we'll be analyzing a little bit. What are the next moves? What are the next levels? What are we taking into consideration here? Very disturbing movement here to the upside. It doesn't look extremely impulsive. It looks very, very weird indeed, okay? It looks disturbing. It looks very disturbing. We're going to be talking about the levels of support. I've given the explanation of the scalp short, right? 618, bang, bang, take profit zone. This area was not easy to jump into a long, just like this one right over here, right? This falling knife. And I was explaining yesterday why I was not interested in a short position here from this bounce, okay? And that was speculating that, hey, if we could count here, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is your second wave, and this is your next wave down. That was the only micro count that we could do. This is no longer a third wave, right? If we're bouncing here just because we did not even hit the 1-to-1 extension, I was like, hang on a second. This is a big no-no. When we take a look at the extension from this move and this bounce, and we move down to not even hitting the 1-to-1 extension, making me believe that this is not a third wave, because a third wave, I would preferably want to see it longer than the first wave. Of course, as long as it's not the shortest wave, you can have a very, very short fifth wave and it would still be valid. But it was not enough for me. I want to see that third wave at least being longer than the first wave. And this is why this bounce over here for me was very disturbing. It was like, no, I do see the V-shaped recovery happening because we have not hit the one-to-one. And then we came to the conclusion of, okay, if this right over here that we mentioned throughout the last few days, and now we come to the different scenarios, guys. Hang on a second. I'm just giving the explanation on these moves. When we, analyzed this move to the downside very nicely, very easy, very textbook, 5 waves down, right? Predicting 4th wave, 5th wave, the bounce here as well. This was getting a little bit more complex, was not that easy because obviously corrective structures can be multiple different types, but it ended up, of course, being a regular zigzag ABC right there, claiming the high, or more a WXY in a double zigzag. We've got 3 wave, 3 wave, and 3 wave. But regardless, it was a corrective structure. And then obviously you're counting this next move down from this pivot. From this pivot is where you're trying to analyze what's going on in here, right? This is why we came yesterday to the conclusion, guys, this is a 5-wave move down in a descending broadening wedge. And of course, a descending broadening wedge, right, in textbook classic technical analysis is break out from the wedge, claim the highs of the wedge, right? Why use a little bit of Elliott wave theory and Fibonacci and confluence levels? Hey, keep it simple. Descending broadening wedge, you break out, you target the highs, long the breakout, right? And just target the highs. You can, sometimes it does work very, very well. So descending broadening wedge coming all the way up to the top of the wedge finally here throughout today. Now, when we go with the counts, what we can see here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and a descending broadening wedge, you have the 5th wave larger than the 3rd wave and the 3rd wave larger than the 1st wave. So it's just very, very textbook descending broadening wedge. Now, when we come to this conclusion, this does not look impulsive to the downside, right? Especially just after claiming this high. This is a 3-wave corrective structure. Now it's where it gets very interesting. Now it's where it gets extremely complex, because what could happen here is a big fest. We've got major levels, major target, major speculation scenarios, but it's not easy eventually, okay? You got the extreme bullish case scenario where you're starting some impulses moves to the upside right now, and you're going to take the highs at 69,500. And you have then very, very complex. Maybe this is a W. You're forming an X right now in a flat, or you could form a zigzag, and then you can start forming a triangle, or a flat. It's just the possibilities right now are there's infinite, right? And well, not infinite, but there's a lot of different possibilities. So we are going to come and this is why we're doing this live stream. And I'm going to do like freestyle analysis on Bitcoin here ever so slightly, just like yesterday, as we were doing that descending broadening wedge and looking at the levels. The levels did get, the 618 did not get a reaction. Okay, it blasted through. The 78, with where we had the daily, the point of control of this range, bit choppy. You had the daily level providing resistance, all of those 1 hourly candles closing below the daily. It was an acceptable short, I have to say, as a back test, looking at the lower time frames. You're back testing the daily level, get a pullback, considering it as a scalp, just considering it as a scalp. If you did short here, the back test of the daily, start thinking of collecting profits, as you lose this level, especially if you reclaim it. This is a bit of a scalp short position. So anyway, let's zoom out ever so slightly. We're going to go to the 30-minute time frame and come to the different scenarios here. Where the heck are we, right? Do we still have the possibility of this being a 1st wave, 2nd wave, 3rd wave, 4th wave? we're going to form a fifth wave here. Maybe yes. Maybe yes. What I do not like is the movements that we're forming throughout the last 24 hours to the upside. It's, for me, not too convincing to believe that I don't see major impulsive moves here. You know, this is a really, really very, very disturbing. You got this wave right there. Wave up, consolidation, wave up here, consolidation, moving down, almost overlapping this wave. So this is no longer looking extremely impulsive. I think we are in a larger corrective move, and I'm gonna explain right away what could be the situation here, because we do have some liquidity to be swept. Few hundred million at 68.2, 68.3, 68.4. There's quite a bit of liquidity there. So yeah, we're just about to sweep up the highs again, which was the highest probability here locally, based on bullish CVD divergence, right? The amount of liquidity, you got a lot of shorts entering here, a lot of stop losses. You know, they're possibly going to get punished. People that have shorted here and have not taken profit as a day trade, and then you're looking at a swing trade and people just shorting very aggressively, looking for that move to the downside, right? Well, eventually they're going to get punished now in the next coming minutes. So based on the movements here to the upside, we're going to have to analyze very, very carefully, legends. And I'll go through the comment section, guys. I'm just really trying to focus here with the different analysis. Hopefully you are enjoying. And if you are enjoying a little bit of the analysis that is going to come right now, make sure to absolutely destroy the like button. How many likes do we have right now? Let's do a quick like confirmation and a quick stop of the stream to just smash the like button right away. We got almost 200 likes, guys. Let's smash through the 200 like. There we go. Wow, that was quick. 220 likes, guys. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Let's continue here diving into the price of Bitcoin and analyzing, you know, what is the next resistance, right? Would it make sense for the price to successfully break through here, right? Will we rocket to 69,500 throughout the night? Right, that would be like very, very bullish. I don't think we're going to rocket here. We're obviously going to find some levels of resistance, and this is why we're here. You know, what is the levels that have high probability in getting at least a reaction, right? At least a reaction, just like the golden pocket from this pivot to the pivot low. This is a reaction level. It's a swing failure pattern. It's a reaction zone. We got the reaction. We got a pullback of over $600, about $700. You're getting supported from a resistance support flip. You're just forming the momentum. So the reaction is there. So what is the next level to get reacted, right? If we break through this level, will we form a double top scenario here locally, which could be the case? It could happen as well, guys. We're going to have to be really ready with our sniper techniques, okay? We need to be ready with the sniper techniques here, because it is just worth it. It is worth it if we just do this for a quick rejection. I mean, if the lower the wick, the better, obviously. If it does get a wick up, wick down, you got a baby stop loss. This could be a double topping zone, and it could get the price, you know, back down to test the lows here, right? You got a really good risk to reward. So you could get that wick, stop out all of those over leveraged short positions that have their stop losses here above the high, get the wick, grab that liquidity. And there's even liquidity more than 68.2, 68.3. So the wick, the breakout could be pretty solid, right? You could be just filling a lot of short liquidations. And this is what usually happens, right? when you do have a lot of liquidity, it just forms a cascade, and you get that candlestick that just goes boop, 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 and it just gets that major move very, very quick of several $100s, just because the amount of stop losses, that is fresh liquidity to enter the market, right? And it's stopping out all of those over leveraged short positions. And then you get that reaction move up, right? You just get the kind of the breakout to fill in all of those stop losses. So there is a bunch of stop losses sitting here. And this is why you could get the momentum, right, to just continue up. So there is that possibility of happening in the next coming minutes. And now the question is, where could the price get resistance? I don't think the price is going to shoot up here to hit 70k throughout the night, right? I think it's going to find some kind of resistance, and I think we are going to be ranging for the next coming days without taking this high just yet. And there is even though not even breaking out from here, maybe coming down from here now. And the main reason why is this price action. This price action for me does not look too convincing for an impulsive move. And it's still part of a corrective structure. Just because we have this wave, this small consolidation, the next wave, this corrective move, it's overlapping almost the highs here. The correction here would be too large for a wave 4 in this case. And then you got this. So there are, there's a couple of scenarios eventually. And one of them is another expanding diagonal here to the upside. When we do take a look at the pivot lows, we're just going to get a channel here. And yeah, for the moment, it does look pretty interesting here. Looking at this channel high, kind of a fake out, kind of resistance. And that would make sense for a kind of an expanding diagonal right over here. Not the most beautiful looking one, but it just doesn't look convincing for an impulse for me. I mean, this would be one scenario, because in an impulse, you want the first leg move down, the second wave, the third wave. You want the third wave to be quite aggressive. Then the fourth wave hitting the 382 to the 50% Fibonacci, and then coming back down to hit the low. And when we take a look at this structure that we formed throughout the last 24 hours, no major third wave here. You got, this being a very similar wave to this one. Too deep of a corrective move. So, if anything, it could be an expanding one. Which you would be looking for that high to be hit. And you have the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5. Really not the most beautiful looking one. Then, of course, you got the other scenario where you got this 3-wave corrective structure. And right now you're forming a double zigzag here where you have 3 waves. You have 3 waves right there. And you are in the formation of 3 waves right over here. It just does not look too impulsive. It doesn't look too promising for the price to shoot up right there. I'm coming here to the possibility. I'm just zooming in on I cannot count 5 waves from here. It's very 3-wavy. It would have been nice to see this and then this, and then you're like, wow, this looks good, guys. This does look like we have a first initial wave. This could be bubbling up for a massive third wave to the upside. But based on this structure, I have to believe that, it's just not going to have enough power just because we have broken the possibility of this to be impulsive, because we formed a 3-wave move. So now you know, looking at the probabilities, that you do not have high probability in the next move to the upside to be extremely impulsive, right? It's unlikely that you're going to see a strong move here happening, just purely based on this movement up. It's a 3-waver. This is corrective. It's part of a larger corrective structure. If we would have just formed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this corrective move, right? Very similar to this, 1, 2, 3, right? Just a 5 impulsive move, and then a corrective structure here and a zigzag. That did not happen here, meaning that it doesn't look very impulsive. It doesn't look very impulsive. You've got a 3-wave move here, you've got a 3-wave move here, and you could be potentially forming a 3-wave move here. Now is where we come to the levels of resistance and the different scenarios and the possible setups that we could be ready for based on this price action right now. So we're building up the analysis, the waves, levels of confluence, regardless a little bit of elliott wave theory. This was a good level to short. Keeping it simple, if you know a little bit of Fibonacci basics, it's the golden pocket, and you got a sweep of the high just for a liquidity, just to jump into a scalp short. So, regardless, different, advanced elliott wave theory scenarios, it's a good short position, right? It's a nice scalp. You're looking for a retracement, and you're looking for taking profits where? Well, at the level of support, the closest level as support that you have, which eventually was this level of resistance, also with the daily, right? Remember those daily levels, guys. They are very important to take into consideration when you're doing your day trading and your scalping. You can see here this kind of doji candle. You got the daily close from Tuesday and the daily open. And today we got resistance and we managed to break through it. When you go to the lower time frames and check that daily level, it was actually pretty nicely respected. You got an attempt in breaking out here, very wicky, provided resistance, and then provided support. So if you are looking for any short positions, you need to recognize that we broke the daily. It was resistance, it could be support. So I want to take profits there if you get a reaction bounce. And we did get a reaction bounce quickly. So you just need to collect those profits. Now looking at what is next, right? So we got this move to the upside. I do think that, sooner rather than later, it's just going to get that liquidity move. It's just going to get that kind of breakout. And it's going to be looking very interesting, right? Where we're breaking out, this is going to be extremely bullish. Where could the price potentially find a topping range? Now, when we take a look at the extensions from the waves, right? Because you have this wave, you have this move, and then you get this move. Wow, this is extremely bullish. Well, you need to be paying attention at the levels of resistance, the extension. This ain't going to go up forever. It's going to find a wall and it's going to get a corrective move. When we do take a look at this extension from this move, and that's, all of this is building up on the idea of what could happen next, okay? And where the price could find that resistance. This one hit the 0.78 Fibonacci. It was hitting the daily. It was just daily and the 7.8 of the extension. Yes, 1-to-1 was not hit, but 7.8 already getting the resistance. When we do take a look at this movement down, 3-waver as well. You got a 3-waver here. You got a 3-waver here. We got a first waver here. You could arguably discuss that this is the second wave. Are we in the formation now of the third wave? when we form these 3-wave structures, it continues with 3 waves, okay? As we do not have 5 waves up here, I cannot believe that the highest probability move here is going to be a 5-wave move to the upside, very explosive in a 3rd wave, just because of this move right over here. I have to believe that what is going to be formed here is a 3-wave move. And what are the potential levels of targets, right, of this this 3-wave move up that we could be having in the next coming minutes? It could be a failed 3-wave move. Preferably, I would want that high to be taken eventually. But as you know, taking a look at extensions, eventually you want to take a look at the fib levels, right? From this move, you got the 236382. A lot of bullish CVDs. We had the possibility of coming all the way down of 1.618. You know, this was the long trade idea that we also had in the Legends trading community. But regardless, we did jump into a long position here from this zone. In this long, nice scalp, long position, taking profits here at the highs, basically at the rejection. Just a nice day trade. But you know, and I did add to this position. You know, it was a very small position as we were running up here, protecting position and moving to the upside, and you know, just claiming those highs. You know, interested in taking the profits at the highs, basically right over here. Also speculating on a short, also, you know, long to end short on, you know, on a lot of, you know, different exchanges eventually, looking at that long position here that 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝗽 provided in the Legends trading community, and still in that short but very, very tight stop loss at the highs, you know, very much willing to get stopped out because, you know, eventually, you know, it's just a very, very tiny stop. It's a very good entry. Happy to get stopped out because we try and, you know, take advantage of the large move, and it is a hedge against the long position, right? I would be taking a bit of profits to hedge against that stop loss from that long. The long was provided in the Legends live today, and also this short day trade scalp was also mentioned in the Legends trading community. Overall, looking for intraday setups, looking for the possible longs. I have to point out that I actually preferred ever so slightly, but I agreed with 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝗽, one of the coaches, that yes, this could actually be front run. We are getting the resistance support flip, and we have extreme bullish CVD divergence, meaning that there's too many shorts entering here, and they're likely going to get punished, right? There's just too many shorts here entering the market, and we do have that possibility in having the run to the upside to take the highs, which is the, you know, what you're targeting, right? You're targeting basically the highs here. If you break out from the highs, even better, you're targeting these highs, and this would be your kind of ultimate take profit, or the take profit, you know, the take profit has been taken here at this level of resistance already on this day trade. So you know, I think, you know, the short is kind of worth having open just because your stop loss is extremely small. Now, I am speculating that this high is going to be taken. But it's, if you have such a good entry and your stop loss is so small, you know, what if this was the local top and the price is going to correct down to lower levels in the next coming hours? It's like, it is a high confluence level. We can try and predict the waves and the next scenarios, but hey, this is the golden pocket, the most respected Fibonacci retracement. You've swept up the highs from the last few days. Yes, there is more liquidity here, but I've seen liquidity being just a few $100s away and leaving it to take later on, right? Maybe tomorrow, maybe in the next 2 days. So liquidity, yeah, it's it can get, you can get distracted with the liquidity, because it's like there's so much liquidity here, and I've seen liquidity not being hit by $10 and hundreds of millions, right? You're like, oh, we're going to sweep the liquidity, and then the price suddenly turns around and you're like, wow, we were just about $10-20 to hit a huge amount of liquidity, and you just kind of front run the liquidity and you get it later on, right, after a major corrective move. So, you know, liquidity is always not exact, and it's like, oh, we're going to claim it, we're going to claim it. I think so. It is going to be claimed, and just because of this momentum, right? This momentum looks, you know, 3-wave here, 3-wave here. You got a first wave here. You got a possible count second wave here, and you're building up the third wave. Of course, there could be this scenario over here where you still haven't formed the second wave, so you're still doing this, and then you're going to get this. All right, so you would be counting this as this and as this, and then you have 3 here, 3 here, and 3 here. Now, if this were to be the low, well, we do have a channel formation from these higher lows right there, right? We've got some local higher lows. This is very local, guys, very, very local, okay? Because I know there will be somebody in the comment section, that's not how you get a trend line. You know, you need to do it from this pivot. You know, this is very, very local, okay? Higher low support and higher low support right there. So, you know, this is why we come up with this intraday channel formation. Yeah, but just out of curiosity, we can actually check here, right? This steep, it's actually getting respected as well. Just out of curiosity, guys. Not that I would pay much to attention on that trend line, but let's just take a look at this higher low trend. It's kind of wanting to get respected, right? It's kind of wanting to maintain this higher low trend throughout the last couple of hours. Pretty interesting to see. Just an average higher low support trend. So anyway, diving up here, diving into the scenario, hey, if we break through from here, do I see the price coming up to 69,500 overnight? I'm going to say no. I think it's highly unlikely. I think it is highly unlikely that we do get that movement to the upside, and that comes to the reason of this does not look impulsive. This initial bounce that we had throughout yesterday night, right, and today, part of today, does not look impulsive. It's a 3-wave move. So, and we could form many different things here. 3-wave, 3-wave, 3-wave. There's many different scenarios, but I just don't want to go too complex into trying. Maybe we could do this. Maybe we could do that. Maybe we could do the other. First of all, let's keep it a relatively simple 3-wave here, 3-wave here. If we do look at the 3-wave here, I'm interested if this is a higher, if this is the low, right, and we don't come down here and hit the low, I think there could be an intraday scalp day trade setup. If we come down here, you know, we could possibly see this as a corrective structure and then look for another bounce up, just maintaining this uptrend momentum. There could be a possibility that you could swing failure pattern from this low if it were to be the case, and just look for the, you know, just look for the local uptrend to get, you know, to get continuation, right? Just basic, simple technical analysis. Sweep up the low and just get the rise to the upside. Let's take a look at the extensions here right away, guys, of the possibility if this were to be the low, which I do think there is a high chance. There is a high chance that this is the high low. You're just creating small little pullbacks, and that high is going to be taken at the end. How high can this go, right? We want to take a look at different extension levels. What is interesting is that from this pivot, the 1-to-1, which I don't think will be reached, okay, but it could. We definitely need to consider the 68,500. I mean, that would be a pretty intense move. There is enough liquidity for the price to actually get to 68,500. There's hundreds of millions of dollars at 68.2, 68.3, 68.4, even 68.5. So could it extend all the way up there to the 7.8? Or will it peak out, but not even reaching the 7.8? We got the 0.78 here on the extension, and we got the 1-to-1 where we have the 7.8 Fibonacci from this overall move down. From this overall move down, we have 382, 50%, 618 golden pocket, 7.8. Which ones did get respected? Well, the 382 eventually did not. We got a rocket candle going straight through the 382 from the highs created here on Monday to the lows from yesterday. Absolute rocket of that, the 382. 50% reaction slightly above, beneath it with the daily. It got the pullback. Golden pocket, 618, reaction, pullback. So 2 of the major fib levels did get respected, the 50% and the 618. They did get respected. So will the 7.8 get respected? What I like of the 7.8 Fibonacci from this overall move down is that we do have the 1-to-1 extension from this local move. From this local move here. Okay, that would be right over here at the 7.8 Fibonacci from the overall downtrend that we've had throughout the last few days. I like the level. I like the Fibonacci confluence that we do have there. And we have some lows that have been respected at that level on Monday. You can see some major, movements down, getting respected. It could be a support resistance flip. And we got the Fibonacci confluence also backing up that these lows created at 68,500 to 600 that was providing support might be just a basic support resistance flip. We got the Fibonacci's that are adding the confluence. I like the level. The $68,500. I would treat this as hit the level. If it's above, you're not interested. Once you get below, it could get the pullback. Just like the 50%, you get above it, you're not interested. You get below it, you're interested in the short. As you can see, you were providing the resistance. You continue to the downside. So, if we were to shoot up all the way up there, and that would be a move of $700, right? You get above it, then obviously you're looking at continuation up, right? You're just looking at the 0.88, the 0.88 Fibonacci, right? If you do get the reaction and you start rejecting from it, then you could look for the larger pullback that could happen of several $100s. And you're looking at a local level of resistance that should be flipping as support for the take profit or the VWAP. I think VWAP is very far away eventually, but it will start climbing up. VWAP will climb up, so you could get the VWAP as a take profit zone unless you build resistance levels. Well, eventually you're looking for that resistance support flip. If you're shorting here, you're taking profit at the local levels of support. Just like if you shorted here, you are taking profit at the local level of support. Resistance support flip, same scenario, level to level, understanding the levels, understanding your entry points and where you would want to take profits, right, on these day trading setups. So Yeah, I like this. I like this level. It's nice. Let's just, out of speculation, analyze. Let's just hide this Fibonacci extension 1 second. And as we are looking from the lows here from yesterday, the development of the price in a 3-wave move here and a 3-wave move here, and potentially a 3-wave move here in the next coming hours, if not minutes. What we do what we do see here from this pivot low to this pivot high, because it's a finished 3-wave move up, and this is a finished 3-wave move down, the 0.78, yeah, the 0.78 extension from this is right over here, right? Where we do have the 7-8. So it's a double 7-8. It's a double 7-8 right there. And from the internal wave, which would be a WXY in a double zigzag, you would have inside of this internal one the 1-to-1 extension, right? From this one right over here, you do have the 1-to-1 extension with all of that Fibonacci confluence. So, you know, it's a solid level. It's a solid level. It has been providing support on Monday a couple of times, as you can see on the chart. When we zoom in to that 68,600, 700, 500, 600, that level has, you know, that level has been bouncing a couple of times here. And when we do take a look at the movement down, we have 7-8, right? From the initial move down from Monday to Wednesday. It's just a level where you could expect it to get rejected, guys, okay? Price maybe is going to roll down here and it's going to go to $50,000 tonight. Eventually, I would not expect that, but it might happen. It's just figuring out the levels where we do have resistance, and this would be one of them, right? This would eventually be one of them. And you have the 1-to-1 extension from this latest wave. So, you know, it's interesting. It's interesting. I love Fibonacci. Fibonacci is great because when you get certain pivots and certain waves, there is certain levels that you have the Fibonacci's aligning, right? And it's a very, very interesting zone. So, you know, maybe this short is going to be the short. I mean, it's a very acceptable short. It's still, I think it's a short that you would want to maintain open. I'm still in a small short position from that level, and I prefer to get stopped out at that minor loss instead of, you know, because it's not worth even being defensive. What if this is just creating choppiness at this golden pocket? You've swept up the highs and you are going to get a larger pullback in the next coming hours. It's just because the stop loss is so small and it's like insignificant. But if the price rolls down, then yeah, the profits will be looking pretty good compared to the stop loss, right? Just out of imagination, right? Just out of imagination. Hey, what if this were to be the top? You know, you've swept the highs, you hit the golden pocket. What if we are entering here, you know, a different structure? It's kind of worth having an entry point with a very small stop loss there, just in case the price rolls over. So anyway, let's go through the comment section right away, legends. Let me know if you can see me. Bears, bearish, please. We got a lot of bears here in the comment section, guys. Make sure to destroy the like button. We got a bit of people dropping. Let me know if you can see me, if you can hear me. People are bored based on the technical analysis. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. No way. We are looking at different scenarios, legends. Make sure to destroy the like button. I'm going to go through the comment section. It is about time to go through the comment section, guys. Quick reminder, Bluffin has a new bonus for the people that sign up. You have up to $10,000 deposit bonus, okay? Eventually, with the deposits and the movements of volume that you create, you'll be getting those airdrops of bonuses of up to $10,000, so you can add up to your capital. It's a no KYC platform, and you can sign up with a link down below in the description right away and start trading in minutes, guys. No KYC, no identification, and they do have proof of reserves. Now, we did have the 10% cashback. Talked to the legends and said, you know, we need to change this. We want a better bonus for the community, okay? So you've got $10,000 bonus, all right, deposit bonus. The more you deposit and trade, the more airdrops you're going to get, up to $10,000 to add up to your futures exchange. Let's take a look. Epic TA says, Splash, thank you very much, my brother. You know, we just, you know, analyzing and trying to predict different levels that could, you know, extension waves. We have data. We do have liquidity. We can see the liquidity above $68,000 all the way up to $68,600 more or less, right? You know, that's where we do have a bunch. Yeah, 68. It starts going down at 68,500, 600. It would be nice to get that $600-700 move up here. Would be nice. But this, without a doubt, is a level to pay attention, a level of rejection, as mentioned, right? There's so much right there. We've got the 078 and 078, well, we had the 078 from this wave getting rejected. So we have the 078 from here, exactly at the 78 Fibonacci retracement. We do have the 1-to-1 extension right over here from this wave. We got quite a lot. We got a, you know, we got a bit of support. We got our reasons to believe that this could be a rejection point. The 7-8, as the price is above the level, you're not interested. This could continue to the upside, just like the 618 that we mentioned yesterday. We need the price to stop and get the reaction so we can manage risk. We need the price to stop at our level of interest, to snipe a short and have stop loss. You get the move down. Yesterday, we talked about the level that was interesting. That was this lower high right over here. It was also with the 618 Fibonacci golden pocket zone. What happened? What happened? It just like bang. It just nada. No level, right? So it is extremely important that the price gets above the level, but then gets the rejection on the 1 minute or the 3 minute time frame is enough already to get in with good risk. Right over here, you tapped ever so slightly above this level and you got straight away beneath it, and it was just a few dollars, not even $100, not even $50. It just went above the level a few dollars. Perfect. Get in. As you reject it, stop loss at the high. Hey, you're in the trade. The stop loss is insanely small. You got a baby stop loss. It's like, you know, hey, stop me out if you want. I don't care. It's peanuts, right? But if it rolls down, then, you know, you're in the trade. So this this level is you know, still choppy. It's still providing the resistance. I need to come to the conclusion that the possibility of doing this is there, guys. It is definitely there. I would be a little bit surprised if we yeah, I mean, it would be nice at least going to the 0618 mean, it's just slightly above us. It is just slightly above the highs. So it could just hit the 0.618 and form like a double top and come back down to sweep up the lows. It's possible. If we do get that, if we come up here and we SFP, I would give it another attempt. I would just give it another attempt if it does reject from the highs of today. If it's above the level, then I'm looking for higher, as mentioned. So let's talk about the bullish case, right? We're talking about levels of resistance, the possibility of rejecting at this certain level. I think the best one, I mean, there is the local double top, and then you get a larger pullback. You will have an attempt possibly to break down from this low. If it does so, then obviously we're looking for lower. But if we do break out, my best level of interest would be $68,500 range, right? There's just a lot going on there. And of course we do have that channel formation, but it just does not look too I wouldn't say that it's the best as a resistance, right? You got the higher low here from intraday from today. Yeah, I mean, I would, yeah, well, I mean, this could, it could get the resistance and kind of double top. Then you're rolling down. We cannot ignore this scenario. It's going to be very interesting how we break out from here. It's going to be very, very interesting. It won't be difficult to analyze and have good risk management and have an entry point. It won't be difficult because it either moves up and continues higher, or it moves up and gets the rejection. Then you could sniper and have an attempt here to come and sweep up the lows. You know, the strategy is simple. The risk management is simple. We as human beings make it extremely complex, right? We just shall we go in? Shall we go out? Should I enter here? Should I not? Should I risk more? Should I not risk anything? Should I sell the house and put all of my funds into this trade? Well, eventually not. We do not want to do that. We want to be very, very responsible and make small positions and, you know, build up, right, the different trading setups. Devil, my man, I can see you in the comment section. It is time for comment section, legends. It is time for comment section. Let's go right away. Whew, I'm sorry, guys. Hey, what's up, my man? Killed the like button. Devil, much shout out to you because I got into this long position. I actually got into a small long on both exchanges because of you. I got into a very small one here and decided to add to the position while we were pumping up here, saying, look, I'm going to give a chance for the bulls to actually take out those highs and maybe even take out these highs. So I longed your setup from today's live stream, Devil, and you know that I am, I'm always very conservative and I'm very scared and I'm always looking at the best setup, right? I'm very boring with my setups. And like, if the price doesn't come here, I'm not going to get into a long position. And then the price leaves without me, and I'll be like, screw you, Bitcoin. I was waiting for your price action to come to me, but you did not. Because for me, it was a better level of confluence and it was a better chance. We had the daily open right over there. We had the, daily open, this low, the 1.618, the order block. I like that level much better. But it front runned based on the massive bullish CVD divergence. And I just needed my man Devil, the absolute legend coach in the Legends trading community, to say, let's just all long together, right? Smaller than usual, okay, I have to say. Smaller than usual position, because when you when you do not follow, right, the strategy, you need to be aware that you could get stopped out here, right? Because we were aware that we could be getting stopped out, and then not to worry, we got another level, we got another plan, and we got a pretty good projection. Then we have the master here in the Legends trading community. 𝗕𝗏𝘆, shout out to you guys. If you do not follow 𝗕𝗏𝘆, make sure to go and follow him already on YouTube, because he does provide the education on YouTube, and taking a look at the price of Bitcoin as well every single day on YouTube, and looking at different scenarios and different possibilities. Shout out to you, my man. I'm going to put you right away in the pinned comment. Guys, go and check out 𝗕𝗏𝘆 right away. And now let's go through the comment section. Okay, 𝗕𝗏𝘆, my man. That was a cheeky trade. Yes, it was. Yeah, 0618 for me is the minimum target. Absolute legend. SFP is swing failure pattern. Yes, SFP is a swing failure pattern. It is basically a failed breakout, right? In a nutshell, because you might think, what is a swing failure pattern? What is SFP? It's a swing failure pattern. Okay, what's a swing failure pattern? Well, it's just a failed breakout, right? When you get above a high and you do not manage to successfully continue to the upside after the breakout. So you basically hit above it, you get beneath it. That is an SFP. It's a failed breakout. So just in a nutshell, right? Odin, my brother, how are you? It is actually possible that this could be the top. If 2 hours close above the current price, it will head to the latest top. And if it closed down, it will head to the low. I like that explanation. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽 getting delisted from Binance. Easy short. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝘽. Wow, let's take a look at that right away, because there is one cryptocurrency, one of that I've been adding and one that I've been buying, guys. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝘍 finally did something today. It did something. It did get a nice little pumpy action. It's already correcting down, but it did move up almost 50% just throughout the last 24 hours. It's correcting down at last. It did something, because this did look like it was dead, right? This is what happens. I was still actually buying throughout the last couple of weeks here, this massive dead project. It's not dead, but it's just out of interest, right? Good accumulation levels. It got a nice pop today. It might get a big correction, but overall, I got a good average entry. If it comes down there already, well, I'm still at entry zone. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝘍, Unibright, Umbrella, Chainlink, some of the altcoins that I do hold. Anyway, let's go and take a look at 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝘽, because it's going to be delisted. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝘽, right? Unified Protocol. Someone saying here, 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝘽 getting delisted from Binance. And it's an easy short position. Woo! Oh, wow. This is already getting volatility the last couple of days. Oh, easy short, but you're getting those short squeezes as well, right? Just even on CoinGecko, we can see them. Yeah, stay cautious, guys. So with... Oh! You already got the short squeeze, right? Oh, well, this is Binance, so we cannot take a look at Binance. Oh, my goodness. This happened yesterday. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. It's not an easy short, I have to say. It's not an easy short, because, yeah, don't you think that there's going to be a massive short squeeze? It seemed like that the delisting already happened throughout yesterday, right? We probably got the news of 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝘽 getting delisted from Binance from yesterday. That's when we already started to see it drop significantly. Oh my God, it got an epic short squeeze. Just imagine getting into the long. Obviously, you don't want to long a delisting. This there's just no strategy to be taken here, right? There's no easy short. You know, you think it's an easy short, don't worry. The big boys will not make it easy to you, all right? And just imagine a lot of people just by delisting, because we did see a few coins delisted throughout the last few months. One of them was Waves, and Waves did get a major dump. Usually a delisting does create, you know, the price to collapse, right? Especially on from Binance. And apparently it was not easy for this one. And a lot of people would FOMO into a short position, right? It's getting delisted from Binance. Let's put, you know, a huge amount of capital and short this at a 20x, right? And shorting a 20x on an altcoin is a lot. And, you know, let's just put a lot of limit shorts right there, right? Because it might get a little wick. Right? I don't know. It's just, you know, I had these thoughts back in the day, and this eventually did not work out. This is why I stay away from any of these kind of speculative strategies. It's getting delisted, let's short it, right? We're getting a recession, let's short. Well, we got stock market, you know, just absolutely popping throughout all-time high throughout the last few months and weeks, right? 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗫 hasn't come out on X for quite a bit. He's been bearish since 2017, right? The good old, right, guy that predicted the 2008 financial crash. I think he's been always bearish since then. So it's like, when you know, I think he's never been bullish, to be honest, right? Obviously, I don't know exactly. He might have been bullish in 2012 or 2013, but he's been a perma bear for many years. But he's got the name, right, for predicting the 2008 crash. But he's been a consistent bear, and he's always been bearish. And he comes out with these tweets that he deletes, right? I think he's called Cassandra on X. And he's a perma bear. He's always bearish. He's always bearish. And we've just been smacking throughout all-time high for the last few years for almost every single month. So, yeah, eventually a broken clock is, right, you know, more than 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗫. But anyway, this easy short, because it's getting delisted, is not easy, right? There's a lot of people that get extremely liquidated. You know why this wick was created? It was created because people have lost a lot of money here. This means liquidity. When you get these wicks, it means there is a lot of money sitting here, all the way up to $8. Mucho dinero. And a lot of money. This is the risk of these low cap coins, that you want to, you want to trade them, and you want to make huge amounts, and you are getting on a speculation that as it is getting delisted, it's going to dump big time, which it kind of did already. We must have got that news already yesterday. And whoo, be careful, guys. Be careful. Trade responsibly. Trading is not an easy game, and be careful with these speculative coins and trading based on a delist. Anyway, I'm late today, Faris. No worries. I'm always late every day, just by a few minutes, but it doesn't matter. Andy, have we formed a wave 1 impulsive from 69.2 and are in a corrective second wave? Let's take a look at this comment here from 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗫. Let's go from 69.2k. Are we, have we formed a wave 1 from this movement down from 69.2k, right? 69.5k, to be more in detail here where the high is. I have to say no. We were talking about this throughout yesterday's stream, and I did not like the idea of this moving to the upside. I already didn't like the idea of shorting this pump, just because this movement to the downside, we were speculating if this is a wave 3, I want this movement to the downside. We could micro count here 5 waves to the downside right here with this double bottom. If this were to be a wave 3, I want it at least to cross the 1-to-1 extension. Once we cross the 1-to-1 extension, I would speculate once we cross this 1-to-1, then yeah, that's looking pretty good. Then I would have speculated here on the retracement in a 3-wave structure to look for a pullback, but that did not happen. And this is why we said, yesterday, not interested in shorting here. I'm interested in a short here if we do get the reaction and the rejection, but we just broke through. So just by that reason, and especially right now that we've claimed this high over here, this no longer looks impulsive. Could we form, right, some kind of, something like this, and we're going to form a much larger complex corrective structure throughout the next coming days? The possibilities of what could happen here is massive. You could be forming a contracting diagonal right over here, right? You could be doing something like this in the next, coming days. You could be, obviously not like that, but more like this, right? You could, more like this if you wish, right? If we were to form a high here, and this is a low, you got a 3-waver here, possibly 3-waver here, 3-waver here. This could be a scenario, but this is just imagining what could happen, right? But what could not happen is this being impulsive. This is no longer going to be a strong move down. It's no longer going to be a strong move down. We got multiple different scenarios. You got a possible WXY. You got a possible expanding, diagonal that could happen right over here. You could have, I don't know, many other different things. The contracting one also, right? You could have a contracting one formation, a bit of a descending wedgie structure. But what you could not have is a strong impulse, just because the third wave has failed. The third wave has failed to prove that we are going to go to lower levels in an impulsive move down. So yes, it could be a wave 1, but not in an impulsive move to the downside, just because the third wave has failed miserably here with this rally. The bears have failed on an impulsive move down. Now, of course, we got contracting, we got expanding, we got a WXY. We got many different things. And the main reason why we would have a WXY here is because if this were to be a larger ABC, we also failed in forming 5 waves to the downside in an A wave. So the probabilities here is WXY, complex scenario. You got a 3, you got a 3, you got a triangle, you got a, you got a flat. It could be very, very complex, the price action. So we're just going to have to be looking at the levels, just like today we mentioned the 7/8 Fibonacci. It could be a topping zone without a doubt. We've got the extension 0.78, we got the internal extension 1-to-1, we got the 7/8 fib from the low to the high. There's just it's a level, right? It's a level where the price could reject, just like this was a level sweeping up the highs from the last few days, regardless of what could ever happen here, what kind of waves could happen. It doesn't matter. This is a good level. And this level has high probability in being a swing failure pattern. It's the golden pocket. It's a lower high. Regardless of what kind of waves could happen here, this level is a reaction level. Just like this one mentioned throughout this stream, this is a reaction level, the 0.78. It's the 0.78. It's the 0.78 from this move. It's the 1-to-1 from this move. It's a kind of a attempt breakout from these higher highs, resistance level, right? It's a rejection level. Whether this rejects like this, or it rejects like this, or it rejects like this, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I do know that it is very likely that it will get a reaction and it will likely reject at least a few $100. Well, if I do know that, I want to get into the trade. How can I get into the trade? Well, you need to tap the level. You need to hit the level. And as the price action is above the level, you are not interested in getting into the short. This could blast off and we're trading at $100,000 tomorrow. We hit the level. As long as we are above it, you're not interested. If you get trading beneath it, you have the attempt to speculate on that pullback. Just like this 618 and this lower high is a good level. If you tap it, you get above it and you get below it. The moment you get below it, you got a rejection of a few $100 potentially. And that was the case. You got above it, you got below it, you got the rejection of a few $100. Then obviously it's a good setup. So this level is exactly the same thing. You would treat it as the same thing. You hit it, you get above it, not doing absolutely anything here, above the level. You hit it, you start getting below it. I'm interested in speculating on the rejection from that point, just because of the confluence that there is there. And just looking at Fibonacci, which is 0.78 from this move, it is exactly 778, baby. 778 from this move. And from this move over here, more locally, because you do have a local move to the upside and a local retracement to the downside, then the next projected move here that is in confluence with these 7-8 double bubbles is the 1-to-1 extension. Why is all of these fib levels exactly at, it's just a good level. It's just a good level. A good level for the pullback. And, we want to be paying attention to see if the price blasts through the level, right? Which I don't think is going to be the case. And there's reasons not to believe that that would be the case. And you might think, why? And I'll explain that right away. The main reason why there is low probability that this is going to shoot up like this is because of the initial move to the upside that we had throughout the last 24 hours, which is this movement up, consolidation, next move up, too deep of a pullback to believe that this is any kind of impulsive move. So what you want to see is a five, we want to see price, starting to rocket on the third wave. And this third wave was, this is not an impulsive third wave. So the fact that you formed this and that you formed this, and now you're forming this, the probabilities here and shooting up to 70k is just extremely small. Yeah, I'm looking possibly to go up to 68.5k. Yeah, I do think that could very much be the case. But the price is unlikely to successfully continue, right? The pump. It's going to reject at some point. And the highest level to do so of confluence is the 7-8 Fibonacci. Now, of course, it's all looking at the probability levels of rejection. If you blast through that level, then you have no deal in trading that. We're getting the pop out right now as we speak. We're getting the pop out here now as we speak. And the 0.618 could be a level where it gets slightly reacted. Yeah, would be nice to see a bit of follow through right now. Would be nice. Because we do have a bunch of liquidity. I mean, this should get a pop. It should continue popping. Because you're getting all of that liquidity being swept now. And this liquidity cascade, yeah, there's some pretty nice liquidity here that's going to be swept. All the way to 68.4, 68.5. Yeah, you got a lot of fresh liquidity here, so I think it's very, very likely it's just going to squeeze up here. It's going to squeeze up. It's going to squeeze to the upside. Very, very likely. A lot of liquidations happening as we speak, and there is more liquidity at higher levels. Now we hit the 0.618. Not a good level. It would have been acceptable for a wick up, wick down, but yeah, I am really looking at a high chance and even hitting the 68.5. I think that is the best level. Just there is quite a lot of liquidity. We can already see this, you know, the measurement of the wave would make sense for a 1-to-1. Yeah, for me the clearest level is this one. You know, shorting here, the 0.68, the 0.68 is getting a tiny reaction, but it's gonna, you know, I just would not short this. I would not short this, realizing the amount of liquidity that we have above us, just breaking out from the highs. You know, this is like higher we go. We're likely going to go higher despite the pullback. Stay cautious, anybody that is longing as well, guys. When you get these pop outs from the level of resistance, we get the pullbacks as well. Okay, this is for me a zone that I would not do anything. I do not trade the volatility because we need proof of resistance. We need good certain levels. Volatility is especially on a breakout, you have the fake out possibility and you have the breakout possibility. You do not, you know, this is a zone where I do not do anything. You just don't do anything on the volatile move till you hit your levels of interest. For me anyway. You can have whatever strategy you want, but anyway, we're popping out here to the upside. I longed from the daily level, says 𝗬cie, absolute legend. I've taken most of the profits already from the long positions. Profits have been taken. I'll be leaving a little bit just in case it extends a little bit more. Might lock in another $100. But it would make sense. It would make sense to go to slightly higher levels. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm day trading the levels, and my target zones was the highs, especially when you get a reaction. So the profits have been taken already on this day trade on the rest of exchanges, and the short got stopped out. Right, it was a tiny stop loss, very, very small stop loss, and now just not interested. And nothing. I do realize that we could be going to higher levels, and my next day trading level, which potentially I will be sleeping and I won't be able to catch it, basically, is a clear rejection from this pivot. And the main reason here for me, 𝗬cie, absolute legend, saying that he longed the daily level. Absolute legend, 𝗬cie. Longed the back test of the daily. Absolute legend. Almost already up $800 from that daily level. Almost 800, 700. This is a zone that for me is no long, no short until we hit the levels of interest. If it does reject from here, I would say it would be a very aggressive double top. I have to say, I mean, very aggressive failed auction. You know, you could maintain momentum to the upside. I would not short this failed auction, me personally, unless we get a big drop with volume, maybe a back test. Maybe it could back test if we move up here, very corrective. But yeah, I do think that we could be going to higher levels. You know, it would be nice to hit that level of confluence that has been mentioned, right? The 68,500. You got the 1-to-1 extension. You got the 7-8 extension, 0.78 extension. And you have the 7-8 Fibonacci from the overall move down of the last few days. I mean, that would be the ideal. And you would be popping out here from this resistance of this channel. And it, you know, for me, it would be kind of a fake out. You know, I would be looking at that, getting back in and getting a larger corrective move. I mean, that's the level of interest that I have anyway, and I'm very likely going to miss that level because I will be sleeping. But it seems like that higher is likely for the moment. You've got a lot of this liquidity is just waiting to get swept. There's still quite a lot of liquidity to get swept here at 68.3, 68.4. So it is just very likely that we'll get that move, and it makes sense based on the extension as well. Okay, based on the waves and the extensions, it would make a lot of sense that you know this has to get a bit more of a push to the upside. It needs to push up a little bit more. Let's go through comment section. Don't sell, keep the long position. Yeah, I mean, all of the profits have been taken, as it is a day trade. It was a day trade. I'll leave some open just in case the price goes to 100k. But which is unlikely. I'll leave some open. But yeah, this is I think that these highs are not going to be taken tonight, in my opinion. Okay, of course I cannot say they're not going to be taken as a you know, I'm certain about that. That is impossible to say. We cannot be certain about anything when we're doing analysis, but it would be highly unlikely for this high to be taken tonight, right? It's going to get a pullback and a rejection at some point in this area. It's going to get a pullback, and we're going to be very, very specific on which level will it get the pullback. And for the moment, the strongest level is 68,500, at least the one that I have been finding out here throughout the stream here with you guys. This is an old weekly level that I do not know why I still have this on the chart. We can get that weekly out of the way. But I would be interested in looking at the previous weekly levels. Previous week levels. Yeah, no, still would not be interested on previous week levels. Naked point of controls, I don't think that we do have any solid ones here throughout. Why is the session volume profile getting deleted all the time? Yeah, there is that point of control, which is ever so slightly from the consolidation that we had throughout the last weekend, Saturday and Sunday, that we do have right over here. You know, you could arguably, you could say it's point of control from last weekend. So previous weekend point of control. I mean, it's ever so slightly beneath the 7/8 Fibonacci. It's ever so slightly beneath the confluence area of interest that we do have. It could provide a bit of resistance. Anyway, the best level without a doubt is 68.5, 68.6 zone, based on the analysis of the waves and extensions. So this is the interest area. If it were to break through from that level, I mean, there is other chances here as well. Okay, we cannot ignore the possibility of, what if this right over here is forming a flat structure where we formed a 3-waver, and eventually this would be too fast to come up to 70k tonight, but get a 3-waver here, and you're forming a flat basically, right? And then you're getting this. We could not ignore this scenario. I mean, it could be possible. I would still be interested in a swing failure pattern from the highs of July. I mean, on a higher time frame, guys. If you did short 69,500, eventually you must have taken quite a significant profits throughout the leg down. You know, this swing short idea of the naked point of control, the 1.618 extension, beautiful short that I missed because it happened at 3 in the morning. If you did short that level based on the live streams that we did create last week, talking about that level for many days, right? We were talking about 1.618 extension, naked point of control. Guys, we have a high probability that the $70,000 high from July can not be taken just yet, and we're going to get a pullback just because we are also extending to the 1.618. We had many other scenarios here, looking at one of them contracting diagonal. It does look like that we could be topping out here. You know, I hope that you did take most of the profits, because you know the price could come up there at some point in the next coming days. And it's just because of this, guys, because I was leaning bearish yesterday. Right? I was leaning bearish, giving the bears a chance to form a 3rd wave here. Right? We're giving it a chance. Let's see if we form a 3rd wave. Very difficult to long this movement down. There's no confluence. We had a naked point of control here, but it was just breaking out from it. Very difficult for me. This was quite an empty zone to have any long position. It was very, very hard for me anyway. If you did catch that low, then congratulations. For me, it was a big no-no. I could, you know, how to manage risk. Why am I entering the trade, right? And eventually throughout yesterday, you know, I was still speculating on the possibility of wave 1, wave 2. You know, we could be forming a wave 3 here, and eventually the wave 3s are more aggressive than the wave 1 most of the times. But that did not happen. But when we detect, and you know, I was bearish, but I did not like the idea of shorting any bounces here. And it was explained throughout yesterday's stream, because this 3rd wave also was very small. We formed not even a 1-to-1 from this movement here. And it's like, yeah, this bounce, I'm not trusting it. At least I would have wanted to see this being longer than this wave, and then I would potentially speculate on that bounce for a short. But we did form a smaller wave here, and I was like, yeah, no chance. No chance in any shorts here. and then the price just shooted up here very early this morning. So there's not much to do, guys. We're pumping. Shame that well, not shame, because I'm a day trader. I'm not a swing trader. There's no shame at all. There's another opportunity around the corner. My next level of interest would be the 68,500. There's trades every single day, right? Like I said, I missed out on the long here, but I did manage to get into a long here, and it was more thanks to 𝗕𝗏𝘆𝗽 than me. Small little scalp short here. That's, profits at the daily level, and this was pointed out by Aiden, but my position was too small, and I just got a tiny stop loss because I had an epic entry. Basically, stop loss was it did show it at the beginning of the stream. Stop loss was just like, extremely small. It was a really good entry from the SFP from here, and the risk management was absolutely crazy, right? The losses on this is extremely small, but overall, yeah, this had to be a take profit zone. It had to be a take profit zone just based on the golden pocket, the reaction from the long of today. Managed to jump into long here on both of the exchanges, because I was planning to have more of a swing trade, but just because we got a reaction here, I just did not maintain that long open, and just realizing that this is likely going to top out somewhere here in this zone, 68.4, 68.6. We might get those levels hit throughout the stream, guys. For the moment, higher is likely, and we do have the price pumping. So yeah, pity the profits have been taken on both of the long setups here. I was planning to maintain a little bit of a swing long, but all of the profits have been taken. Likely going to close all of it before going to sleep at 68.5, 68.6. I mean, we might close it before, just realizing that we're likely going to reject. I don't think this pump is going to take us to 70k. This is going to be forming a big fat range, in my opinion. I think we're probably going to form a kind of a WXY, or even here correction, higher low and then up, just because we could form a zigzag here, right? Well, a zigzag here, right? And then possibly a movement down to the lows and form a bit of a flat. You got the WXY scenario as well. Profits need to be taken. I don't see this going to plus 70k throughout tonight. It's just not going to happen. And as a day trader, and realizing the probabilities that we will not break this high, we will unlikely break this high. Not that we will not, but might as well just lock the rest of the profits. It's eating liquidations. It certainly is. Yeah. It's just eating up all of that nice shorts that are, and that still have stop losses and liquidations basically at higher levels, right? It's just eating it up here, and we still have some more at 68.3, 68.4, and even 68.5. It would make sense for that squeeze. Longs profits have already been taken. The short position out already. There's no reason for me to be in a short position here, so you just want to be out safely. Guys, remember, if you are interested in trading, you do have no KYC platform. I know a lot of people are into no KYC. They do not want to register, right, with their identification. Your best shot for no KYC exchange is bluffing, guys. You get $10,000 deposit bonus. As you deposit and trade, you get the airdrops, 200, 450, 1,500. You need to be depositing and actively trading, and you'll be getting these deposits. Make sure to check out, guys, bluffing, as it is the best, or one of the best, no KYC platforms, just because they have also proof of reserves. They do not do any fishy things with the funds from the people that deposit on the exchange. They have an open book of proof of reserves where you can see the reserves, all right, of the people, right, that do trade on that platform, which is very important. Es muy importante. So check out Bluffing, guys, with the link down below. You do get $10,000 deposit bonus, all right, as you deposit in trade and move a bit of volume. You'll be getting those airdrops. Right, let's take a look at 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽. Can you take a look at the CVD, please? Yeah, let's take a look at CVD. Also take a look at 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽. Let's get this one ready. 𝗖𝗿𝗆. What is 𝗖𝗿𝗆? And let's take a look at CVD right away. What's going on with CVD divergence here? And let's... Yeah, it was very highly likely that those highs were going to be taken, guys, as well. As mentioned throughout the beginning of the stream, we were forming some pretty aggressive lower lows on the CVD. Lots of shorts entering here. And I got 𝗬𝗫𝗄 in the comment section. Absolute legend. It was, eventually it was a good take profit zone if you shorted this reaction from this level, because it is a resistance zone, right? 618, golden pocket, lower high, pullback of, $600-700 from that level. Absolutely. Daily level, bullish CVD divergence, resistance, support, flip. You got to give it a shot, right? You got to give it a shot. I was already in a day trade long position on a couple of exchanges, and I'm happy with already with the profits of today, but it was worth a shot as well. Get the reaction at the daily and get a stop loss and target the highs. And the main reason for this trade as well, not only a basic resistance support flip, you had the daily level and you also had the incredible bullish CVD divergence, which is creating that liquidity that we are sweeping up right now as we speak. You got, with the data, seeing people that are shorting like crazy, especially on Bybit. You got major other exchanges shorting as well. A very aggressive lower lows on the CVD. And you forming higher lows on the price action, giving you the high probability that these highs, which is already the shorting level, to get swept, right? Swept. So absolute legend, 𝗬𝗫𝗄. 𝗬𝗫𝗄 has been following me for I don't know how many years. 𝗬𝗫𝗄, confirm in the comment section. I don't know if it's been the last 2 years, maybe 3 years even. And he's an absolute legend. He does know what he's talking about. 3 years, my man. Shout out to you. Very dedicated. Very, very dedicated. And he has been sending me DMs a lot of the times, right? Shout out to you, my man. Very dedicated. And obviously getting into spot on trading setups. Shout out to you, brother. Let's go. Fear is created to take your coins over and over and over. This world is designed to leave you behind, says Chris Hardwood. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. I completely agree. This is why we're not selling Bitcoin, at least till we get to all-time high, right? At least. I was in doubt of selling a bit of Bitcoin the other day just because of this on spot. And I'm like, no, maintain your strategy and start DCAing out when you break all-time high. Never sell all of your Bitcoin, because we might be entering a super cycle and we're going to go to the absolute moon, and we're going to $500,000 in just 1 to 2 years. Just imagine that, guys. We never know what could happen, right? Still a lot of people are bearish based on recession, based on fear, based on disbelief. We still have a lot of people bearish, which is obviously quite good for fuel to go to the upside, right? And we never know that could a super cycle happen, right? If we get the money printer going on very aggressively in the next coming months, which could be the case, it could happen, guys. If the governments lose control with the economy and the money printer goes on very aggressively, especially in the US, obviously, I wouldn't think that they would allow to get hyperinflation. They would not allow that. Yes, it could go back to 10% inflation, but I don't think it would create a hyperinflation. But you never know, guys. You never know. When you have the governments, right, basically controlling your money, they control your money because they can print it, right? And it creates inflation. And then everything is extremely expensive with your fiat currency. You know, Bitcoin is the opportunity, and you're really more interested in buying than selling, without a doubt, for the long term. So I will take some profits at all-time high, but I'll be selling 5% just as we break all-time high. I'm like, I'm going to sell 5% of my entire Bitcoin portfolio. And if we get to 85,000, 90,000, I will be selling another 5% without a doubt, right? We're scaling out, but you never know how impulsive. We do have some speculative targets, right? Technical targets, as the cup in handle. We got the famous cup in handle right over here, which the target zone is coming all the way up to around about $120,000. So that's one like textbook, right? Textbook massive round accumulation scenario. We have the Fibonacci expansion, right? Target zones, which are very, very good, without a doubt. The first expansion here is the 1.618. That is 100K. Round formation. The expansion from the highs to the lows of the bear market, 1.618. A very classic target zone once you break out successfully from an all-time high asset. The 1.618 expansion is very, very classic for a multi-year bear market consolidation, and that is sitting at $100,000. Could it super cycle and we're gonna go to 200K? I would consider $200,000 part of a super cycle. If we were to get into those targets this cycle, would consider that super cycle targets. But it's very speculative, right, guys? Muy especulativo. Especulativo. Sorry about that, guys. My throat was a little bit dry. Through to liquidity. Absolutely, yeah. It's absolutely going smashing out through the liquidity. And we do have the 7-8. That's the only level of interest, guys. I would really not do anything here. This ain't zones to. Do you want to jump? Do you want to FOMO into some longs? I mean, longs should have been taken from lower levels. Aditya, the legend, back test of the daily, resistance support flip down here. Thanks to 𝗕𝗏𝗍𝗏, one of the coaches in the Legends trading community. You want to try and long the pullbacks, where you get supported. FOMOing in here, it can be a little bit dangerous. And the only level to short that I like is this one. Will we hit it or not? Will we, what can I say? Will we come there later? Will we not hit it? We gobbling up all of that liquidity that we do have, and liquidity does continue to 68.4, 68.5K. It's just eating up that liquidity, and we just very likely we've eaten the larger part of the liquidity already. Still a bit more. All the way to 68.6K even. It's just yum. be careful, guys. Any shorters, this is not a zone to short without a doubt. Till at least we do hit my level of interest, right? Will my level of interest get respected or not? Well, we're going to have to see. But this, with the liquidity that is still sitting up here, this is no zone to jump into any kind of short, in my personal opinion, just based on the risk management and the risk that there is. This is just no trading zone for me. If it ends up doing this, the problem is the stop loss. If it ends up rejecting here very aggressively, the problem is, where are you going to put your stop loss? Or where are you going to stop adding to your position? Right? Because that is basically what a lot of you watching this right now do that. I know some of you watching, maybe you right now watching me right now here. Now maybe you gets in a short position here. You do not know where the heck you're putting your stop loss, and you will just add to the position because at some point the price should reverse. You have no idea where your stop loss is, and you have no idea where you are going to take profits. So it's a full recipe of massive failure. Do not trade like that. Do not trade like that. Just to stay on the safe side, right? You will catch a few that end up well. You add, and then you get an epic position, and then the price rolls down, and you're like, yay, I add to the position. It finally was an epic level, epic short. But if the price does not go in your favor and you're adding to the position, you're not having a stop loss, you'll add a little bit more because it should turn around, and then you're like, oh shoot, the price has just gone above 70k and I'm in a position here down massively. You don't want to do that, guys. You don't want to trade like that. I know a lot of people trade like that. I used to trade like that many years ago, and I got extremely wrecked. For me, back in 2019, I lost $20,000 in a trade in less than 1 week, getting into one of these silly add to the position trading setups. And, I burnt $20,000, and $20,000 was a lot of money for me back then in 2019, as it was just 1 year into crypto and 2 years, learning trading. Still very newbie, and big mistake. And, this is just, I was delusional. It's going to reverse at some point, right? I'll just add to the position. Guys, this for me, I haven't done that for many years. It's just a full recipe to get absolutely burnt. If you don't know where your stop loss is, if you don't know where you're taking profit, and you just adding randomly to the price that is moving against you, you do not want to do that. It's a full recipe to get burnt. Anyway, let's go through the Guilty says AV creations. 433 likes. Absolute legend. Yes, sir. We have it. Let's put those extensions, guys, right away. And we'll have them ready on the chart, even though, if we don't go there in the next coming minutes, I probably won't be around. This might take another hour or two, or it might reject down from here. But the level of interest for me is that 1-to-1. And also the 0.78 from here. That is also, it's just beautiful. It's what a beautiful Fibonacci confluence area. Very nice. Let's if you are FOMOing into a long position. Now my question is, let's go on the lower time frames. Very difficult, very difficult to try and analyze. Hey, where could we bounce here? The best level for me is this one without a doubt. But, you know, could we get a bounce on this pullback? We're going to get some long squeezes here as well. Huh? There will be some long squeezes. You're going to get a lot of people shorting and a lot of people longing. And you're just going to get a bit of volatility. 1, 2. Interesting. I'm interested in micro counting this. So from this corrective move, right? It's pretty obvious. From this correction, the low is here, right? So we got a first wave 1, you got a 3-wave corrective structure. So you got a 1 wave and a 2 wave right there. Now going from this pivot low, woo, you would have to count this like this. You got a bit of a 5-wave move here. You know, could it be a double 1-2, right? Kind of a double 1-2 here. 1-2, 1-2, bit of an expanding here, a bit of an expanding 1 2 3 4 5. It is what we can see on the lower time frames, right? We cannot make this up. So if you got this one, you got 1 2 3 4 5. You got a bit of an expanding 5-wave structure here. You got a 3-wave here, very rare, bit of a triangle. But this is the correction. So what we can count on micro counting 1 2 1 2. And if this is a 1 2 1 2, you know, maybe we're going to get a fib level here that could be a possible bouncing zone. Let me just zoom out ever so slightly, and we got the 7-8 getting rejected at the moment from this move. The 0.78 is the one that is getting a bit of a rejection. Not a short that I would take personally. But if this were to be a 1 2 1 2, this is 3. Let's think of Fibonacci from the pivot low to the pivot high, because we would speculate that this is a wave 3. Hang on, I need to clean up the chart because I'm getting, yeah, let's get this out of the, well, no. Yeah, it's this blue horizontal line is nothing. It's the 6.5 from the golden pocket. Anyway, let's hide it. Yeah, the 382 50% Fibonacci should be getting a bounce because remember, right now we are in the formation of, you got a 3-wave move here, you got this movement up here, you got this corrective move here, and this move to the upside starts from here. And when we do zoom in to this price action, we only have the scenario of a 1 2 1 2. It would not be, yeah, we've already broken out from here, from the higher highs. This would not be expanding, it would not be contracting, it would be nothing. Very shallow pullback to the 236. Preferably, if this is a 1 2 1 2 and this is a 3 4 5 and then another 4 5, and then you get the pullback. This is the kind of the waves that you want to form in the next couple of hours. Now, where you would want to bounce is in between the 382. Preferably, you would want to see that 382 being hit. 1 2 1 2 3. Yeah, this would have to be it. Yeah, you would have to count this as a 1 2 1 2. This being a 1 2 and this a 1 2 right there. No, this is not 3 4. So it's this right over here, 1 2 1 2. And then this the third wave. So you're expecting a 4 and a 5. And where you do not want to overlap, I think your best shot here is in between 382 and 50%. This is where the price should not successfully move to the downside. I mean, if it does, I would say that this low would be an acceptable SFP, like as an aggressive scalp. Yeah, if we do get that level hit, we will probably get into a scalp long here very aggressively. And you do not want to, basically, if you don't want to hit this high either. So round about this high is where you will have your stop loss. I mean, this is your stop loss. If this were to be a 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5 continuation till you hit the higher levels, because this is not expanding, it is not contracting, and you have a double 1 2 right there. So this has to be the third, and this has to be the fourth zone in between 382 and 50% from this next move that we've had throughout the last hour. So a higher low in this area is very, very likely to claim the high again. And eventually you don't want this high being taken, because that would be an overlap. 1 2 3. You don't want the fourth wave to hit the high of the first wave, right? So the price should bottom out in between 382 and 50%. It might just SFP from this low. That would be nice. That would be nice. It would give you a nice entry, a nice stop loss, and you're speculating for the highs. Long in here would be very, very, very shallow pullback. You've only hit the 236 Fibonacci from this move. I would want to see lower to get into a nice pullback in this case, in between 382 and 50%. And your invalidation is this high right over here. It's enough to put a stop loss here. It's enough to enter here, and you're targeting the highs again to be hit. It might happen now in the next coming minutes. Let's take a look at, let's set some alerts here on the chart, because we're gonna go and take a look at the some news. I do think, we do have a bit more of liquidity to the upside, right? There's still more liquidity. Of course there is. Of course there is. How much? Yeah, we've still got a bit of liquidity. It would make sense to just follow through here. So there is a little bit of a plan. Let's put an alert here just at the 382 Fibonacci right away. And why isn't it not let me put the alert? There we go. Let's put some alerts. Face down, create 382. Yeah, let's start off with 382. And let's see how the price comes down to this area. It would be nice to get some bullish CVDs also coming down to that level. It's already creating some nice bullish CVDs. Yeah, we're already getting them on Bybit from that low, so it probably won't SFP from this low. You already getting some lower lows right there, higher lows. 382 would be nice, at least the 382. But the overall idea would be hitting that high again at some point, whether that is here or that is actually sweeping that low. And invalidation would be here. I mean, it's a 2-to-1 risk to reward. It wouldn't be much, but I would say that there is a high chance and taking those highs again. Let's take a look at some news. And if those highs are taken from here, I have to say this is a very shallow pullback. 236 Fibonacci, slightly below. It would be very, very shallow if it does take the high. I mean, it is a pullback for a wave 4. So if it just bounces from here and it takes the high, then so be it. Let's take a look at some news right away, legends. What's going on here in Denmark? Considering taxing unrealized gains. How can that even be possible, guys? Are you from Denmark? Let me know right away. Where can I enter along? Yeah, just explained where I would enter along. This is too shallow for a pullback for me to jump into long. It's purely based on stop loss. Would I put stop loss below the 382? No. Would I put it at 50%? No. Because I know that those levels could be hit and then we could go up. So I would rather wait, be patient to see if they're hit. I know where to put stop loss here if we get the pullback, and I know where I'm targeting. And if it bounces from here, I have to say, well, so be it. It was just, I don't know where to put stop. It's a very shallow pullback, but it's in a minimum target pullback for a wave 4 if we're speculating on a 1-2-1-2 and we got a 3 and a 4, and then we have the 5-4-5. And all of this, guys, means that you are in the third wave formation still, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the third wave. It's a minimum requirement, so it could very much bounce from here, but it's a stop loss situation entering into long here. Where am I putting stop if I'm getting into a long here? Well, just put it a little bit further away, or just add to the position. Or just, what if I'm wrong with the analysis, right? What if, this is only a projection. It's only an idea. So I want the price to come down to those levels. And then I know where my stop loss is and I know where I'm targeting. So it's a 2-to-1 risk reward. It's not massive. Preferably if we do get that sweep of this low would be even better. But you are targeting the highs again. And the situation here is the stop loss. I'm not going to put a stop loss at the 382 because I think the 382 could be hit. It's still a shallow pullback, the 382. So I'm not entering here, even though I realize that there is high probability in taking out the high again. It's just not. It's not a good scalping long right there. It'd have to come slightly lower. Slightly lower, then I know where stop loss is, which is basically at this high. We do not want overlap. This would be a little bit of the ideal long position, right? Give or take this area. It might happen. I've set some alerts there. Let's go through some news. Denmark, guys, who is tax on the money we have and tax the money we don't have. Silvio, yeah, exactly. This is absolutely crazy. How is this possible? How is this even possible? Paying tax on unrealized profits, right? It's like, imagine having a trade open, right? And you have, just for, speculation, $20,000 profit, right? On a trade. And it's unrealized. You haven't taken profit yet, right? On a swing trade. Then imagine, the government coming up to you and saying, hey, you are in that $20,000 profit trade. Pay some tax on that right away. It's like, I haven't even closed the trade, right? I haven't even sold my Bitcoin. It just doesn't make any sense, right? Yeah, so Wrecked says, 𝗬𝗏𝗽. What's the setup for a short? I think we got some people joining here. The setup for a short, the level that I do like, and it would be looking very interesting as we do move up here with a slightly more pullback or not. Counting this scenario, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. If we take out the high, then it's 5. You have a completion of a third wave, and it would be nice to see that 4 and 5 again, right? So at the end of the day, you're looking at this. Oh my goodness, and it does look very, very messy. at the end of the day, it's a larger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, this double 1, 2, we're counting the second 1, 2 inside of the third wave. And my preferred level for a short scalp to day trade would be the 68,500 to 68,600, only if we get a reaction at this certain level, which is, I don't need to zoom out that much, just a quick explanation. The 7/8 Fibonacci from the overall high from Monday to the low of Wednesday yesterday, 7/8 Fibonacci, and the different extensions that we have here on the chart, which is basically the 0.78 from this move and the 1-to-1 extension from this move. Sorry, my bad. 1-to-1 extension from this move. 1-to-1 extension is right over here. This is from this move. It all aligns. It is all exactly at 68,400. Yeah, sorry, 68,500, 68,600. And the only way that I would trade this is hit that level, this one here, which is the 7/8 Fibonacci, get above it, nothing to do, start getting below it, then you get that short trade, and you're likely going to get a larger pullback of a few $100s if you reject from that pivot. Smaller the wick, and the smaller the wick, the better, the best risk management you can have. The larger the wick, then the more disturbing it becomes based on your stop loss, right? So not much more here to add. Let's take a look at the rest of the news, guys. Who is from Denmark? Let me know in the comment section. Let's get to 500 likes, guys, and continue with the stream, the education, the waves, the scenarios, the speculation on what scenarios could happen next. Of course, managing risk like always. The only way to do it safely is managing risk. And many plans do not come to fruition because we are very selective with our trading plans, right? You need to be selective with your trading plans. Some days there's no trades days. Trading is boring. It is what it is. You need to create those several plans. And if you don't have the plans happening on the chart, then there's no trade. Let's take a look at some other news that is going on. Denmark considers taxing with unrealized gains. This is absolutely craziness. We do have MSTR. BlackRock owns 5.2% of the MicroStrategy stock now. 5.2% of MicroStrategy stock. BlackRock. What a coincidence. BlackRock into Bitcoin, and MicroStrategy being one of the largest companies holding Bitcoin, right? Just in, Tesla confirms it did not sell any Bitcoin in Q3 of 2024. There was some speculation throughout the last few days, even weeks, that Tesla is sending Bitcoin to a wallet, to an exchange, to this, that, the other. They're going to sell. A lot of rumors going on. I think nothing to be taken into consideration really, but something nice to see that they haven't sold their Bitcoin. Look closely. Look how closely Bitcoin has tracked the 2-year cycle average these past few weeks. This is something very interesting to check out. Amazing that it is following a path like the 4-year cycle, right? Like 4 years ago. When we do zoom in, and I'm not sure if I'm in the way here. No. We are very much on track looking at the average momentum from the 4-year cycle. It's not the same, obviously. There are some slightly price differences, but the momentum, the logarithmic momentum is very, very similar. There's nothing out of the normal. We're pumping, obviously, looking at the 4-year cycle, even more than slightly more than expected if we're considering the 4-year cycles on Bitcoin. So everything points out that everything's normal. The BTC order block ratio shows a growing bid imbalance as the price declines. This was actually pretty crazy throughout the price movement yesterday. This indicates low supply and high demand in the current price range. And this is basically as the price was coming down below $66,000 yesterday. This is really cool. I think this is pretty powerful to see the bid and ask ratio as we dropping, because you get a lot of demand kicking in here. A lot of demand as the price moves down. And, you know, this is a great indicator for me as in a buying opportunity. Not for trading, because you never know how low the price could go. This could be an imbalance of several $1,000s, right? But it's curious to see on higher time frame to say the price could potentially reverse. Obviously, this would never be in a million years an indicator that I would use for trading. Maybe for a swing trade, you could apply it for a swing trade strategy, but not for my day trading and scalping strategies. But just to look at the idea of, hey, there's a lot of demand as the price is moving down, and look what happened here. As you can see on higher time frame, the imbalance can happen for a few days and the price could go down several $1,000s more, even though you're getting the imbalance. This is the thing, the imbalances on the higher time frame on these indicators could continue consistently for a few more days, and you never know where the low is in, right? So, you know, basically for a trading strategy, but for a DCAing strategy to buy on spot, absolutely. You're like, oh, this dip looks like that there's more demand than offer, right? And it's going to reverse. And this was posted yesterday from this guy, the bid and ask ratio, supply and demand. There's more demand as the price moves down. Well, the price is going to get a bounce at some point very aggressively, right? And it did. So shout out to this guy on Twitter that did provide this. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽. This guy, yeah, it's 𝗖𝗿𝗆𝗆𝗍. 575 ETFs have now launched in 2024. 14 of the top 30 by inflows are either spot BTC or Ethereum ETF. Include 6 of top 10. Most successful, one of the most successful, not going to say the most successful, one of the most successful ETF, launchers eventually being Bitcoin. And if you compare it to gold as well, it's obviously gone through the roof. Justin, a solo miner, shout out to him, whoever this is, just mined a block worth 3.329 Bitcoin, worth $222,000. Absolute legend. Solo miners. We have also these gadgets where like kind of USB that is a mining machine that you have extremely low probability in forming and finding the solution, right? Because all of this basically machines, right? The miners, they are working to create this mathematical solution in a short period of time, and they're fighting against each other to see who finds the solution, right? To form the next block. And they sell these little gadgets. I've been looking at it on, I don't know where it popped up, but the other day, these kind of USB, miners that it's like a lottery basically. If that little gadget that basically does not, it runs with just plugging into a USB, so you won't be even burning 5 cents a month, right? Or 10 cents a month of electric. It basically goes with battery power. It's extremely unlikely, but they do sell them, and they do have a chance. It's like a participation of trying to find the solution of this complex mathematical problem, right? To finish the block, to get to the next block. And anyway, this just something out of curiosity. A solo miner just mined a block, right? Instead of these big, massive containers where they have hundreds of machines working, right? And they're just burning a lot of electricity, potentially thousands of dollars. every day, right? Or, you know, maybe at least every week. And you have a solo miner here that actually managed to find the solution to get that block and got 3.3 Bitcoin. Shout out to him. Bullish, BlackRock, 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽 bought more than 4,500 Bitcoin yesterday. That is 10x more than the amount of BTC mined daily. Absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. We did actually get some pretty nice inflows yesterday. 192 million on inflows. So yeah. Oh, wait, let's take a look at. Oh, yeah, no position here for me anyway. I've set the alerts at the 382. I think this could be a 3-waver. I've opened a position on Bitcoin at 67,136. Please suggest it can go to 69k now. Okay, you've opened at much lower levels. Absolute legend. Yeah, I mean, possibly it could. I would say that 68,600 is a big rejection point. It is a big rejection point, so pay attention to that. I've explained it throughout the streams several times. Please, can you tell BTC? I've explained also Bitcoin throughout the last 5-10 minutes locally. And if you want to take a look at higher time frame, check out the last 30 minutes to 1 hour on Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin buy or sell leverage, 𝗕𝗶𝘆𝗽. Yeah, I've mentioned the plans and the setups. You know, right now there's nothing. I would like to see a pullback in between 68.05 and 67.97 for that possible move to the upside. It's a reaction. The stop loss is clear. And higher time frame, the levels to short, for me, it would be only this one up here. Okay, it's all explained throughout the stream. I am gonna go off to sleep right now. Okay, we're coming down to the level. Let's just see. Just about to come down to the level here. 0.382 would be nice. Let's get the level hit. But yeah, it's in this zone, guys. That would be a speculative scalp long. That would be my level of interest. Let's see if it does hit in the next coming minutes. BTC, yeah, my only level of interest for a short would be higher. Okay, we have hit the 0.78. We have hit the 0.78 here from this move, like I explained, but it's very aggressive for the short. We probably hit the top of the channel as well. Let me take a look at it, that channel that we were talking about. Very difficult short in my opinion here. Yeah, you just hit the resistance of the channel here. Just hit the resistance of the channel. Bit aggressive for the short. A bit aggressive, but it basically got resistance exactly at the top of the channel with the 0.78 from this extension. A bit aggressive, but I mean, all of these extension levels like this one over here, you can trade them as so. I mean, if you're shorting for a scalp here still. You get a move of $200, $300, get the heck out. We are still in an uptrend momentum. But the only way how to trade this is you hit the level above it, you get beneath it, stop loss at the high, and you look for a little bit of a pullback. You can make a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 risk to reward. I would only consider it as a scalp as we are very much uptrending, okay? The slightly higher time frame short of interest would be this area, okay? as mentioned, as the confluence. And the only way to trade it is you react to it, you're beneath it, you got the trigger. You start moving down, you can be a little bit defensive, very tight stop loss anyway, you don't need to be defensive. If you are above the level, then you're not interested in trading it. Some pretty nice trading setups that have been provided today in the Legends trading community. Shout out to Aiden, shout out to 𝗕𝗏𝗏. Guys, if you want to join, you do have the first link down below where me, 𝗕𝗏𝗏, and rest of the coaches do provide different setups and scenarios. You got the first link to join, guys. That is where you get the alpha first in detail of the scenarios and setups. Thank you very much for joining today's live stream, and I will see you tomorrow.